Hello everyone, it's been definitely been a while since I've done a YouTube video or any type of video here. Wanted to hop on here and tell you a little bit about these extreme temperatures we're having in Lincoln, Nebraska, and actually all the way down into San Antonio. We have a friend who lives in San Antonio and they've received a few inches of snow and extreme temperatures down there, so I'm afraid they're going to have some building issues as well down there in Texas because building code does not prepare themselves for what they're going through right now. This video is going to be short and sweet. Three of the most common callback or warranty calls or messages that builders are probably getting this week or will be getting this week. I'll drop all of the information below as well in a little more detail and verbiage and stuff. So number one would be what we call a cold spot. So where you're on your exterior walls, where your ceiling and your wall meets, there is where the roof trusses are, there should be insulation in the eaves stuffed in there. And what happens sometimes is insulation is either missed or slid over due to wind or something. Maybe someone's in the attic and there's going to be cold air getting into the attic, not through the vent baffle that's going to be attached to the bottom side of the roof, but cold air is entering through the soffit, through that missed insulation spot or spot where insulation was moved a little bit, and it's meeting the ceiling and the wall, if this is the outside, and your warm air from inside is meeting that location, and there's the cold air, and what's creating condensation. And typically, if it's extreme temperatures like this, it'll actually cause frost on the bottom side of the drywall. Not a huge concern. Usually it's going to go away within a day or two. We have had it on a house actually, that some insulation, we were up in the attic, moved some stuff, and it did not get put back properly in one specific location. And that ceiling, it showed a full 2 foot wide because the trusses were on 2 foot, and it came in about 1.5 foot area of basically frost on the ceiling. So how does that get fixed? Just make sure the insulation is up in their eaves properly, and make sure if you're up there like during the day that you can't really see daylight through that location. The number two probably callback item that some builders might be working through, we've actually received this as well, would be your kitchen hood. So again, cold meeting hot or warm, you have your kitchen exhaust hood specifically on the inside of the house too, going up through maybe the roof, or even if it's an exterior exhaust. What's going to happen is your warm air is going through and exhausting out the house, meeting that cold air, and there's a damper, automatic damper basically, or spring loaded, depending on what kind of damper it is, or it might just be forced air damper as well. Sometimes those don't get shut all the way when that hood gets shut off. So what's happening there is that warm air from the house is meeting that cold air, and then you get condensation that drips through your hood. So if you have a hood that's dripping a little bit of water, that's probably what it is. You just want to check the damper and make sure that it is closed properly. So again, that warm air from the house is not meeting the outside extreme cold. And the last item is a little extreme. Unfortunately, we're hearing a lot of people have this issue right now, but it's also extremely extreme temperatures right now, would be frozen pipes. So the number one rule the builders and remodelers should be doing, and most 9 times out of 10 they are, and plumbers, is not putting plumbing water lines in exterior walls. So if you have an exterior wall, you want to either come up through the floor and then out, or build a sub wall. You never want to have water on the exterior wall. There's ways that pipes are freezing now that we're hearing as well, due to other issues with insulation maybe, or extreme, on north sides of properties or north sides of a house with an acreage with that cold north wind blowing. That's also causing some issues. So one of the ways that on a walkout basement, you'll also have sometimes cold spots in the floor. But plumbing typically is okay in there. But to combat that, we have vertical insulation on the inside of the footing that also comes up and goes back below the slab. So that's creating a thermal break there. So that cold from the outside, when it gets so cold, isn't coming up into the floor. So if there's any issues like that, that could be a way to fix it. But unfortunately, you'd have to be breaking up concrete. And then another spot would be where concrete meets wood. There's a sill sealer there, and that location right there is a definitely a location where cold air can easily get through, because if you think about it, your stud cavity, your wall's framed up here and that's insulated. Then you probably have a stud down here that's insulated, but there's just a little bit of area right there that can, if it's not properly insulated or blocked by the sill sealer or maybe spray foam, easy spot for air to get through and possibly freeze a pipe. We do build per code. So as far as like that insulation and the sill sealer, everything that we do has to be inspected. We have an insulation inspection here in the city of Lincoln. So before we cover it up for drywall, the inspectors come out and they look at the insulation as well and sign off on it or give us notes to fix. So those are the 3 most common things we're dealing with here in Lincoln, Nebraska, and probably even down as far as Oklahoma maybe. I'm sure in Texas the pipes probably aren't freezing, maybe just because it's only cold for a certain amount of time. It's not really cold for a long amount of time or days. So if you have any questions about anything, feel free to drop a comment below, send us a message. We are here to help and bring value to you. Thank you so much for watching.